Welcome to the Deep Dive, everyone. Today we are diving into the future of learning, specifically Quranic education in a digital world.
Mm-hmm.
So think about this. You learning from the top scholars in the field, no matter where you are. That's the power of these online platforms. But, the question is it really replacing the face-to-face connections that we get in a traditional classroom? That's what we're going to unpack today.
Yeah, it really is an interesting question. What's fascinating to me is that this isn't just, a tech upgrade, right? It's really a fundamental shift in how religious education happens. I mean, for centuries, the image of Quranic learning has been tied to physical spaces, mosques, madrasas, these
Okay.
Islamic schools. And now, through these remote Quranic teaching platforms, we're seeing how technology can actually bridge that gap between the teachers and students in a way that really transforms the entire experience.
It's such a huge shift. And one of the sources that you shared with me really spotlights this, the Al-Quran Al-Maradal Academy. And they seem to be a pioneer in this online space. They're offering like a really intriguing model for what this kind of digital learning can look like.
Exactly. And I think what's key here is to understand that it's not just about trying to recreate that physical classroom on a screen.
Right.
Instead, it's about using technology to make learning more dynamic and honestly more engaging. Think about it this way. You have access to so many different resources, right? Digital texts, recordings, even these interactive exercises. And all of this is tailored to fit into your busy schedule. No matter where you are, learning becomes something you can actually do.
Yeah, that flexibility is huge, GE, especially for people juggling things like work or family or, other commitments. It's like it's opening up a whole new world for people who might not have the time or the resources to attend a traditional madrasa.
Yeah.
And speaking of opening up new worlds, the sources that you shared list all these benefits to this online approach: convenience, access to a wider range of resources, even enhanced communication.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
It really is. And actually, one thing that stuck out to me was that emphasis on communication.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to instantly connect with your teacher, to clarify something you're struggling with, or even having discussions with other students from all over the world.
Right.
This kind of real-time interaction could make learning so much more dynamic. And, we can't forget about the people who might prefer a more private learning experience. Online platforms can offer that too.
There are just so many advantages. It's like you were saying, it's a whole new toolbox for learning.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also curious, did the source material you provided touch on any drawbacks to this approach? What are your thoughts on that?
It does, and I think rightfully so.
Oh, yeah.
While there are many positives, right, it does acknowledge some potential downsides. I think one that stands out is the challenge of maintaining a strong personal connection in a virtual setting. That in-person interaction, that sense of community you get in a physical classroom is something that needs to be thoughtfully addressed in the online space. Are there enough opportunities for students to actually engage with each other and form those bonds that can really enrich the learning experience?
That's such an important point. And actually, the source material also mentions, things like distractions at home and potential, cultural or linguistic barriers
Right.
that can make online learning difficult. Plus the whole, needing reliable technology and internet access, which isn't a given for everyone around the world.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what solutions are being proposed to tackle these very real obstacles?
Yeah, that's where the source gets even more insightful.
Okay.
Instead of just presenting the challenges, right, it dives into these potential solutions. For example, some online platforms are incorporating live interactive sessions, kind of like virtual study groups,
Right.
to really foster that sense of community and engagement. Others are providing that personalized support from instructors. So it goes beyond pre-recorded lectures to offer more tailored guidance.
It's almost like they're taking the best aspects of traditional learning, that personal touch, that sense of community, and they're figuring out how to integrate it into the online experience. It's exciting to see this kind of innovation happening.
Yeah, it really is. And it's not just about the tech, right? The source really emphasizes the need for well-structured lesson plans, clear learning objectives, and consistent assessment to make sure students are actually progressive.
Right.
It's about combining that smart tech with sound teaching principles.
Absolutely. So it's more than just putting, a traditional class online.
Exactly.
It's a whole new approach.
Mhm.
Before we move on, for anyone listening who's already intrigued by what we're discussing, I've got to mention https://quranrecite.online. They're doing some incredible work in this space.
Yeah. You can find the link in the episode description or connect with them on WhatsApp at +20 1555 488807. Welcome back to the deep dive. As we continue to explore this world of online Quranic education, it's really important to remember that the shift isn't just about these fancy technologies, it's about people.
That's so true. We're talking about real individuals, each one with their own background, their own learning style, their own goals.
Mm.
And what's exciting is that these online platforms have the potential to cater to that diversity in ways that traditional settings just might not.
Yeah, the source highlights this point beautifully. Imagine someone, let's say, with visual impairment who might have struggled in a traditional classroom setting.
Right.
Now they can access audio recordings, they can use interactive exercises, all tailored to their needs. It really levels the playing field in a remarkable way.
Yeah. It's incredible how technology can break down those barriers and create a more, inclusive learning experience. And the source also mentions how online platforms can be a game changer for those who might feel intimidated or uncomfortable in a traditional classroom.
Mm-hmm.
The anonymity, the self-paced nature of online learning could be empowering for them to finally, engage with the Quran.
That's a really insightful observation. I think it's about creating a space where everyone feels comfortable
Yeah.
and supported in their learning journey, regardless of their background, regardless of their circumstances. And we also can't forget about the affordability factor. For
Yeah.
many people around the world, the cost of travel or relocation for traditional study would just be impossible.
Right, yeah.
Online programs can make Quranic education accessible to those who might not have otherwise had the opportunity.
It's like we keep saying, it's opening up this whole new world of understanding and connection to the Quran. But something I'm curious about is the role of teachers in this whole evolving landscape. How are they adapting to this digital shift? 'Cause
Yeah.
it seems like it must require a whole new set of skills.
Oh, it absolutely does. The source emphasizes the need for ongoing training and development for instructors to really become effective online educators.
Right.
It's not just about recording lectures and posting assignments. It's about creating a dynamic, engaging virtual learning environment, utilizing those interactive tools, facilitating online discussions, providing personalized feedback. It's a lot.
Yeah. So it's really about teachers kind of becoming facilitators and guides
Mm-hmm.
in this new digital space. They're still crucial to that learning process.
Yeah.
But their role is definitely evolving.
Exactly. And just as learners benefit from that flexibility and accessibility of online learning, so too can teachers. They can reach a wider audience, they can connect with students from all different backgrounds, and they can even tailor their instruction to individual needs more effectively.
Wow.
It's a win-win.
It's fascinating how this shift is impacting both sides of that learning equation. Now, something I'm particularly curious about is the potential cultural and linguistic implications of online Quranic education. The Quran is a text that has been studied and interpreted in countless ways throughout history.
Mm-hmm.
So how might online learning influence those diverse perspectives?
That's a really thought-provoking question. The source suggests that online platforms have the potential to foster greater cross-cultural understanding and dialogue. Imagine students from different countries, different backgrounds coming together in these virtual classrooms, sharing their own perspectives on the Quran, learning from each other's interpretations. It's like a global tapestry of understanding being woven together through the threads of technology.
Oh, that's such a beautiful image.
Yeah.
It really highlights the power of technology to connect people and ideas across geographical and cultural boundaries. And speaking of connecting, for those listening who are inspired by the possibilities we're discussing, remember to check out https://quranrecite.online.
Yeah. You can find the link in the podcast description or connect with them on WhatsApp at +201 5554 8807. They're doing some truly amazing work in making Quranic education accessible and engaging for everyone.
They are. Now, as we delve deeper into the impact of this digital revolution on the global understanding of the Quran, let's consider this. Could this lead to a more nuanced and inclusive understanding of the Quran in the world?
It's certainly a possibility, right? I mean, online learning can break down those geographical barriers, allowing for greater interaction, greater exchange of ideas among scholars and students from all these different schools of thought.
Right.
This could lead to richer, more nuanced interpretations of the Quran, taking into account this wider range of perspectives. But it also raises some important questions about, ensuring the quality, the accuracy of information that's being shared online.
That's a crucial point because with this vast amount of information available online, it's more important than ever to develop those critical thinking skills and be able to discern, between the reliable sources and potential misinformation. How does the source address this challenge?
Well, the source really emphasizes the need for robust moderation and quality control measures on these online platforms.
Hmm.
It's about ensuring that the content being shared is accurate, reliable, and presented in a way that promotes understanding and respectful dialogue. And this is where the role of, qualified, experienced instructors becomes even more crucial. They
Yeah.
can guide students in navigating this ocean of information, helping them discern between those credible sources and potentially harmful misinformation.
So it's almost like having a trusted guide in this, like, world of boundless information.
That-
Someone who can help learners develop the critical thinking skills they need to navigate this new landscape. But on the other hand, this ability to connect with people all over the world could also lead to the spread of, misinformation, misinterpretations.
Right. Yeah, that's a valid concern. And I think it highlights the importance of finding that balance between that openness and accountability.
Mhm.
It's about fostering those critical thinking skills among the learners, but also ensuring that the platforms themselves are taking those steps to verify information and prevent the spread of harmful content.
So it's a shared responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
both for the platforms and for the learners themselves. And this is where organizations like, Open Media Group, one of the leading production communities in Egypt, Turkey, and the Middle East, are playing such a vital role. They're committed to promoting quality content and fostering a culture of responsible media consumption.
Absolutely. And I think initiatives like these will be crucial in shaping the future of online learning. It's not just about providing that access to information, but about ensuring that access is accompanied by the tools, the guidance necessary to navigate it responsibly.
Well said. Well said.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as we kind of move towards the final part of our deep dive, let's shift our focus from the how of online learning to the why.
Okay.
What does the source say about the ultimate purpose of Quranic education in this digital age?
Oh, that's a great question. The source emphasizes that it's not simply about acquiring knowledge for knowledge's sake.
Right.
It's about connecting with that deeper meaning and the values of the Quran, and then applying them to our lives in a meaningful way. And that's where things get really interesting.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the future of Quranic education. We've covered a lot of ground, from the rise of those online learning platforms
Yeah.
to their global impact and the challenges they face. But now I'm really eager to kind of explore how technology can help people actually live the teachings of the Quran, not just learn about them.
Right. It's a crucial distinction, isn't it? We can memorize the verses, we can understand their context, but that real transformation, that happens when we actually embody those teachings in our everyday lives.
Yeah.
And technology can be a surprisingly powerful tool to, facilitate that whole process.
I like that perspective. How so? I'm curious to hear more about how technology can really bridge that gap between knowledge and action.
Okay, so think about it this way. We're constantly bombarded with this digital stimulation. But what if we could leverage that same technology to nudge us, toward mindfulness, compassion, reflection, those core values that are emphasized in the Quran?
I see what you mean. We're so used to technology being a distraction.
Right.
But if it can be used to remind us of our values and actually encourage those positive actions, man, that would be a game changer.
Exactly. And actually, the source material you gave me highlights some really innovative approaches that are already emerging.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, for example, imagine apps that offer those daily reminders to recite certain verses related to patience, forgiveness, kindness. Those little nudges throughout the day could really help us stay connected to the teachings and actually start integrating them into our thoughts, into our actions.
Wow. It's like having a pocket-sized guide to living a more purposeful and meaningful life rooted in that wisdom of the Quran.
Absolutely. And it goes beyond that individual transformation, too. Technology can also connect us with a global community of people who share our values, our aspirations.
Yeah.
Imagine online forums where people can discuss different ways to promote social justice, or environmental stewardship or interfaith dialogue, all inspired by those Quranic teachings.
Oh, that's amazing. It's like creating a ripple effect where personal growth leads to that collective action. It's not just about studying the Quran alone. It's about using those teachings as a catalyst for positive change out in the world.
Exactly. And that's where that true potential of online Quranic education really lies. It's not just transmitting knowledge, it's empowering individuals to embody those teachings, to really make a difference.
That's a powerful takeaway. And, for anyone listening who's inspired to explore these ideas further, I have to mention our partner, https://quranrecite.online.
Yes, they're doing incredible work. You can find the link in the episode description or connect with them on WhatsApp at +201 555 488
Absolutely. A big thank you to our expert for joining us today, and to all of you for joining us on this deep dive into the future of Quranic education.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a fascinating journey exploring how technology is shaping the way we learn, the way we connect, and even the way we live our values.
The journey of learning is lifelong. And with the tools and resources available today, those possibilities are just endless. Keep those minds curious, keep those hearts open. Never stop exploring the transformative power of knowledge.
So well said. And a final thank you to our partners at Open Media Group, one of the leading production communities in Egypt, Turkey, and the Middle East, for making this deep dive possible. Until next time, stay curious, everyone.